Like I haven't sat down and filmed a video in a hot second, and now I feel really uncomfortable, so we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Because I just have to do it. Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Maggie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I am going to discuss why I moved to Madrid, Spain after graduation. I graduated from college in May 2019, over a year ago, and I knew my entire senior year that when I graduated I wanted to move abroad, and I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, but I had some ideas. Just for some background clarification, I double majored in college and I majored in film, hence this YouTube channel, and I majored in Spanish, and I studied abroad in Spain during my time in college. I loved studying abroad. I studied abroad in Alicante, which is the south of Spain, and I lived with a host family, and it was an amazing 4 months of my life. I learned so much Spanish, and it was the reason I gained a major in Spanish. Because my experience was so great and positive when I studied abroad, I thought, hey, I could just move abroad after graduation, because I have no idea what I want to actually do with my life, but I know that I like to travel and I want to learn more Spanish. I think I hatched that plan junior year of college. I studied abroad my sophomore year of college, so sophomore year, second semester. I traveled through a lot of Spain. I had been to Madrid twice by that point. I've been to Barcelona, I did the Camino de Santiago, like all up through North Spain. I've been to Granada, to just a bunch of places in Spain. Of course, you can always see more, but I just felt like I had gotten what I needed out of my experience studying abroad, and I wanted to go to a new location. I knew that teaching English abroad is the easiest way to get to go abroad, to live and stay, and to gain a visa so that you can stay abroad. I decided I would teach English abroad, and I do not want to be a teacher. My junior year, I wanted to go to South America. I wanted to live in South America. I was like, perfect, I'm gonna teach abroad and I'm going to leave after graduation, even though I am very attached to all the people I'm graduating with, and it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be great. And that was my plan, and I, for some reason, had to stick to it, even when it started to seem like that maybe wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. So senior year begins, and I know for a fact that I want to go to South America. So instead of doing Fulbright, which is a very prestigious program and very challenging to get into, I decided I would just start applying to different programs, because there are so many programs that allow you to teach abroad, because English is such a highly valued skill. So I started applying to programs. I just didn't really know what country I wanted to go to. It seemed so broad, South America. And then at the same time, the program I studied abroad with, so I studied abroad with a program called CIEE, and I loved the Alicante CIE program. CIE kept emailing me and saying, hey, you're an alumni, you should apply to teach abroad through us. And I was like, I am an alumni, you're right. That would be kind of cool. And the program they were highlighting was their program in Madrid. I didn't really have an interest in living in Madrid. I mean, it sounds cool, but to me, I was like, I'd rather go to Sevilla or Seville. So they have a program in Seville, and I hadn't been to Seville yet, and I had heard it was a beautiful place, and I really wanted to go. So I applied to teach in Seville, and then I don't even remember the other places I applied to. It's March of my senior year of college. Everyone is deciding what they're gonna do after college, and I get this acceptance letter. And I remember sitting there watching just the confetti come down on the email. And I was like, okay, if I do this, then I figured it out. Like, I got it. Everyone says, like, what are you doing after college? What are you doing after college? Hey, what are you doing after college? And I'll finally have an answer, and it's also an impressive answer. And everyone loves an impressive answer when you're graduating college. So I talked it over with my parents. They were like, why don't you just go to Spain? But I didn't get accepted to the Seville program, because I think not enough people wanted to be in Seville. So they got rid of the program, but they're like, hey, you can go to Madrid. So I was like, whatever. I'm a very lax, go with the flow person, but the more I get older, the more I realize how much I should not do that when making really big life decisions. So I say, I'm going to Madrid, Spain. Let's go. I'm gonna go teach English, even though I don't want to be a teacher, even though I don't totally want to go to Spain again, and even though it's for a year-long program, which I knew when I wanted it to be a year, but a year. And while at the same time trying to understand what it means to graduate college and that confusion and heartbreak in itself. So, recipe for a great time. Great time. If you want to live abroad, you need to get a visa, because if you're staying in a country for, I don't know, probably longer than 2 months, you need to be able to legally stay there. This time I was going to be abroad for at least 10 months, if not longer, and I need a visa for that. So the visa application was very long. You have to go to your embassy. I had to go to New York City twice for these 5-second meetings, and it's a huge process. So I graduated college in May, like I said, and then I wasn't leaving. I believe I left August 24th. And I had all that time to get my shit together, get my visa, and get packed and say my goodbyes and get ready to live abroad. My program didn't give us housing, which is fair, and so we had to find our apartment on our own. But the CIE program does provide you with a 9-day hotel stay when you get to Madrid. And the program recommends that you don't find an apartment before you get to Madrid. And me, being the last minute person that I am, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that. I don't want to plan. The reason the program recommends not getting an apartment before you come to Spain is because there's a lot of scams, and just it's kind of hard to find a place and not actually see it, and you never know what you're getting. And if you've signed a contract or anything, it can be hard to back out. And it's confusing when it's not in your native language and you're negotiating, and just different ways countries work. So they were like, just wait till you get here. You will find an apartment. Wait. It's a little scary when you're flying to a foreign country and you're like, hey, I don't know where I'm living. I don't know anyone in the program. And I'm going to be there for a year. The time to go to Spain was getting closer and closer and closer. I still wasn't excited to go to Spain. I still felt like I had to do it. I had made this commitment that I was going to live abroad for a year, and I had to do it. I had to learn Spanish. I had to go. It would be fine. I would love it in the end, because when I studied abroad, it was really hard at first, but then it was great. And that had happened with so many things in my life. So I was like, it's going to be hard when I get there at first, but I'm going to push through. I'm going to do it because I love adventure. I love trying new things, even when it scares me. Time finally comes after my 4 months post-grad, and I packed to leave. I was so nervous and overwhelmed, and had had really horrible anxiety the entire summer. Was randomly throwing up weeks, months leading up to before I left. Wasn't eating sometimes, but I was like, I'm gonna go. It's gonna be fine. August 24th rolls around. My orientation starts the 26th. My parents drive me into the Newark airport, and they both cry saying goodbye, which is normal for my dad, but my mom had never cried before when I left for college, when I left for Spain, but she was crying. So I was like, it's gonna be fine. I am someone who loves travel. I love flying. I love traveling. That was a big reason of why I was going abroad again, was to travel. So the plane takes off, and it's just like a chill flight. It's an overnight flight, because usually when you fly to Europe, it's overnight. When you fly back, it's during the day. So we are flying, cruising, and I think it's setting in what's happening, and I don't know. I was fine, though. Then I started watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and there's like slight turbulence, which I had never been bothered by before. But for some reason, I was just like, that felt really unsafe. And it was like that slight thought that like just, and I like started to have a panic attack. And we're only about halfway through the flight. It's of the 8-hour flight. And I start freaking out, and I have no one to talk to, because I'm by myself flying to a foreign country to live there for a year, and I can't text anyone, and I just feel so alone and scared and overwhelmed, and I don't even know how to like turn to anyone. So I just like hold it in, and I'm sitting with myself and just panic attack, like think I'm gonna throw up, holding it in, getting chills and like it keeps going. Horrible experience. just felt really, really alone and overwhelmed by like everything. Like that I had just graduated college and was heartbroken by graduating college because I loved the experience, and I was so sad to say goodbye to all these people. And I was really saying goodbye to all these people, and I was saying goodbye to my family and everyone really important in my life. To have this huge life change, to go abroad, and it was just a lot. I pretty much had this panic attack for the rest of the flight, just really overwhelming, feeling horrible. Trying to sleep through, and then would kind of come back, and then I land in Spain. And time to start whatever this is about to be. So I land in Spain. I am very alone. I am just confused by what just happened and sad because I had never experienced flight anxiety, and all of a sudden I was like, that was horrible and I don't want to do that again. And so started to feel myself not liking to fly and being worried that I would have a panic attack again. I ended up going to my hotel where everyone in my program is staying, and I'm there a day earlier than everyone. So I check into the hotel, go to my room, and I ordered room service, I think, and got grilled cheese. And then I ended up just crying in my bed and feeling so overwhelmed and alone and thinking it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. I just had to push through this. And that was the beginning of the experience there. My orientation begins, and you started meeting all these people, and you have 3 days to get to know everyone. It felt like freshman year of college all over again, but on steroids, because you only had 3 days to get to know people to live with, essentially. And then you were being sent off into Spain without knowing anyone, and like everyone in your program's in different schools, so they're like, all right, have fun in this country. And so I quickly made friends, and the friends I made, thank God I made them. I'm still close to them. And these group, there were 5 of us in total, but these 4 women who I met, they made so many things worth it in Spain. Everyone is scrambling to get an apartment, and I have this girl I met reach out to me, and she's like, hey, these 2 people I know need someone to fill their apartment. It's in Chueca, which is the neighborhood of Madrid, great place, but it's a very, very central neighborhood. And she was like, rent's only 500 euros a month, and I was looking for 500 or less because we were getting a 1,000 euro stipend a month from the program, which sounds like a very small amount of money, but in Spain that goes a very long way, and we were considered very overpaid for what we were doing. I agreed to move into this apartment, having never seen the apartment. Once again, coming down to making decisions quickly and just going with the flow. However, in my defense, it was a very stressful situation trying to find an apartment, chaotic, and some people asking, do you want to live here? Like handing you the apartment, it's hard to be like, no. So I agreed to it, but I had never seen it. I knew it was a walk-up, but I didn't know it was a mountain up. We get to this walk-up apartment with my heavy suitcase. It's the 4th floor technically, but there's like 8 flights of stairs. And I am not being dramatic, but quite literally everyone who came to visit me had to be like, can I have a glass of water when they got to the top of the steps, because it was so exhausting to get up them. So we're like dragging our suitcases up there. I am dying, and I don't know what's gonna like greet me at the top, and I'm just now meeting my roommates. We get up there, and it's a really cool apartment, which is nice. So I knew I wasn't gonna have a door to my room because it was a loft type thing, and I had these curtains that closed. But I did not know that I wouldn't be able to stand up in my room. I'm a bit taller than the average female. I'm about 5'7" 3/4, 5'8". So, I mean, I'm not 5 foot. If I were 5 foot, I would have fit perfectly in that room. But I'm not like that tall to the point where like not being able to stand. So I had to stand like this. And I was like, whatever, it's gonna be like that one time I lived in Madrid for a year and I couldn't stand up in my room. I moved into the apartment. I remember that night calling my mom and crying and feeling overwhelmed. So I have a month to kill. I'm doing my thing, living my Spanish life. I'm not happy, but I'm thinking it's going to get better. I'll be happy. It's going to be okay. I'll be fine. It will get better. And we all know I'm there to teach abroad. Do we all forget that? Because I haven't talked about it in a while. But I'm in fact in Spain to teach. So then I started teaching these elementary school kids. I would hop on a metro, hop on a train, and then walk a mile to school. And I had to be there at 9:30 every day, which really isn't that early, so thank God for that. And I actually really loved teaching the children. Well, let me backtrack on that. I really loved the children I was working with. Teaching definitely for sure isn't per se my niche, but I loved getting to interact with these kids and seeing how smart and witty and funny and creative they were. At the same time, I'm living in Spain and I'm miserable. This really nifty thing happened when I moved to Madrid where I developed extreme claustrophobia. And I think it came from the plane ride panic attack that I felt like I had no control and I was stuck. And I felt very stuck in Spain. I felt stuck in my apartment. I felt stuck in the program. I felt stuck in the decision I made to move and claustrophobic. And so that stuck with me the entire time I was there. Flash forward to November. I've been there for 3 months at this point, and it's still not getting any better, but I'm still optimistic. And it wasn't like it was all miserable. There were good moments, but most of it was pretty miserable. I am on FaceTime with my godmother. We're talking, and she's like, "Are you having a good time?" And I was like, "I'm fine." She's like, "Do you like it? Do you like teaching? Do you like being in Spain?" I was like, it's fine. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, I don't love it, but like, it will be okay. And she was like, "Maggie, the whole point of teaching in Spain is to have fun." She's like, "If you're not having fun, then like, what's the point?" And for some reason that was like, and I was like, what is the point? Because I cry every day. I'm really overwhelmed. I no longer get my period. I miss everyone, and there's nothing that really is keeping me here. Then I started to actually let myself think about leaving. But then I thought about everything that would mean. Telling my school I was leaving, telling my friends I was leaving, saying goodbye to my students, having someone take over my lease at my apartment, packing up and going home. What would I tell everyone at home? How do you tell everyone you're leaving Madrid, Spain, Europe, this life that looks so amazing and so fun, to come home to your small town in Pennsylvania to work at a Starbucks? And sadly, I think the thing really keeping me in Spain the most was, what will other people think if I leave? But it truly doesn't matter what other people think. Now that I know, I'm like, ugh, Maggie, because they don't know what your experience is. And no one knew, who wasn't close to me, that I was having such a hard time and it wasn't as amazing as it looked. So I just put a lot of thought into it and time, and the more I thought about it, I was like, I can't stay here. It's really, really bad for my mental health, obviously. So I ran it past my parents. They were like, yes, come home. My friends, even my friends there were like, you have to do what's best for you. I told people at my school, and they were like, do what's best for you. In December, I decided that when I went home for Christmas, I was just going to stay home for good. And the weight that was lifted off my shoulders when I decided that, I felt excited for the first time since I graduated college. So I packed up my bags. My last day of teaching was December 21st. I flew home the 22nd, and I saw my family and the people who mean the most to me, and that was the end of my time living abroad in Madrid, Spain. So overall, not my favorite experience. Personally, it was not the right time nor place for me to be, but that doesn't mean that anyone who goes to Madrid is going to have a horrible time, or teaching abroad is a bad experience. A lot of my friends who stayed love the experience, love their time there, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking into it. It's a great way to work abroad. I'd recommend it more if you want to be a teacher, but if you just really want to travel, it's also a good thing to do. What's really interesting is that COVID-19 smacked the world and everyone I was teaching with came back. So I was just like a really trendy person who came back like 3 months earlier than everyone else. Regardless, it's interesting because it seems like I was never destined to live abroad for a year after graduation. I learned a lot and I grew a lot from it. And I think I just learned to not care what other people think because it does not matter at all what anyone else thinks. And if you are a high achieving person but you need to leave Madrid, Spain to come home and work in a coffee shop, then that's okay. And you're gonna get free coffee. So I am much happier being home. Of course, right now is just a weird time to be alive in general, but I am excited for what the future holds and what my career might be. So that's all for this YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about my life. I hope you learned to do whatever you want to do, whatever you really want to do, not what you think other people want you to do, because it does not matter. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all in quarantine.